Hi guys, hang on just a second. I'm going to make sure my other camera is live. Let's make sure we are live on the camera. I think so. I think we are live. Hello, hello, hello. How are you, my friends? Welcome into my craft studio. Actually, I'm in my living room, but it works as a craft studio today. Welcome to Chalk Basics 101. My name is Susan, and this is Sew Inspired Designs. Sew is my initials, Susan Elias White. So I just use that as my abbreviation for Sew Inspired Designs. And like I said, my name is Susan, and I am an independent designer with Chalk Couture. It has been a while since I have used StreamYard, so I hope you guys will bear with me, and I'm hoping that this video will go off without a hitch, and that way you guys will be able to see the project that I'm working on very clearly through my second device. So I hope that is the case, and I hope that this video will inspire you to try something creative, because that's the reason I chose that name, Sew Inspired Designs, is because I want to inspire you to try something new or try something creative. And since I'm going to do this as basically as like a 101, chalking 101, using Chalk Couture products, you can refer back to this anytime you need to. And I will be building on this. Today, I am going to do a simple project with one transfer, one chalk paste color on a chalkboard surface, which is how the company Chalk Couture began their career, or their existence, I guess, was taking a chalkboard surface, a quality chalkboard surface that could be reused over and over and over again, to cut down on your clutter, on how many different surfaces you needed to buy and storage items, but giving you a way to change out your decor for reasons and seasons. That's how I decorate, reasons and seasons. So just to give you a way to have a little bit of versatility in your creating and decorating your home. So we are going to use a chalkboard design, and they're chalk paste and a transfer. Some people call them stencils. They are a silk screen transfer. So I'm going to go through this very clearly and very, systematically, just to kind of tell you this is what you need when you decide you're going to do a project. So real quick, I'm going to go ahead and flip this over to giving you the main project view, and I'll be up in the corner. And as always, I am here to inspire, to answer questions, to help you along with your creative journey. If you're like me, I'm a visual person, so if I can see something done, that always helps me to be able to do it. But if you ever have any questions, please feel free to reach out. You can ask in comments, or you can send me a message. I am happy to help you. That's what I'm here for. So let's go ahead and get it on the project view, and then I'll walk you through kind of some of the basic materials you're going to need when you get started. Okay, so let me do this real quick. And then we'll switch that. Oh, yay. Okay, so hopefully right now you can see, I should not have that on there, but hopefully right now you can see that I have a chalkboard surface. Now, I will tell you that this is not a Chalk Couture surface. I didn't have one handy. I moved recently, and I haven't unpacked all of my items, you guys. So I grabbed a different chalkboard surface that I had. This is a really nice little easel type chalkboard, and I actually got it on a super duper deal from Michael's. And it's just really neat. It's an easel. It's got a little ledge here. It's got this cute little bird up here at the top, and it's just a chalkboard material. Now, I will tell you that, and I'm sorry, it looks like I'm going to probably have a little bit of shadow because of where I have my devices. I will tell you, the chalkboard surfaces, and we have a variety of styles and designs, but the ones that we have on my website at Chalk Couture, they are major quality. They are heads and feet above most chalkboard surfaces you're going to find at any of the craft stores or any store where you can buy a chalkboard surface. They are made to be reused and over and over and over again. So they're just really durable, really nice quality. But we're just going to work with this one today because that's what we have. Okay, so what else do you need? So you need a chalkboard surface. You don't need to do anything to prepare this chalkboard surface other than I notice this one is a little bit dirty. So I am actually going to just grab a paper towel, a wet paper towel, and I'm just going to wipe it down because this has been, like I said, I got this at the store. It's been moved and I've had it stored. It looks like that might actually be an imperfection. It's a little beat up. I have not used it before, but it's still going to be cute. You're not even going to notice it. Like I said, this is not one of mine. I do have some really, really nice chalkboard options in my store. Okay, so what else are you going to need? You are definitely going to need chalk paste. So this is, let's see, I put it around the right way. This is Chalkology paste. It is a special formula made exclusively by Chalk Couture, and it'll tell you some information on the back, and you can actually open that and it gives you some information. This is our signature color that I'm using. A lot of people like to just do black and white to have the black background and white. And we do have just plain white paste, but we have so many variety of colors that I am the type of person that loves color. And this is the perfect color to go along with my home decor. This is our signature color called Couture Teal. So it's a beautiful color. We're going to use that today. But you definitely need to have some paste. Now, other ways that you can get chalk paste are also in, this is a jar. This is a 3-ounce jar, and it will last you quite a while. That is one way you can purchase it. We also have single paste packets, which look like this. And you can actually get not every color, but we have a lot of colors available in a single paste packet. And we also offer some shimmers, not a lot in our singles. But if you are interested in that, I will try to put a link in the comments to my online store so you can check it out if you want to see what different ones we have. We also offer what they call paste palette packets. So basically it's 6 different colors, one individual packet of each color. And it's usually based on a theme, like a patriotic theme or a boho color theme, or maybe it was St. Patrick's Day, it would be, you know, a green theme or a Christmas theme or different themes like that. We also have everyday themes. So you would get these are 0.19 full ounce packets, and they can be reused. This one, actually, I've used part of it and I saved the rest of it. So it only takes a little bit of chalk paste. A little bit goes a long way. But you need some type of chalk paste, either in a jar form or in a single packet form. And all of my packets that I have here have been opened already. And like I said, we do have them in our matte colors. We have metallic colors, and we have shimmer colors available in chalk paste. So whatever floats your boat, that's what you're going to get, is you're going to need that. So you're going to have a surface, you're going to have chalk paste. Okay, what's another essential tool that you're going to need? You are going to need a squeegee. So that is the tool that we use to apply our chalk paste to our surface. And I'm going to show you a couple different kinds. I only have 2 different kinds with me right now, and some multi-purpose tools. But this is what we call a mini squeegee. So it's pretty, you know, if you can see how big it is. And I do have a fur baby here, you guys, so he may interrupt me. I apologize. But that's the mini squeegee size. It is perfect for doing a variety of projects. It just obviously is going to cover a smaller area than what my next size up squeegee will cover. This is the size squeegee that you get if you join. I have a monthly subscription club, and you will get one of those your very first order, so you have a tool to use. Or if you buy any of our kits, we sell all-in-one kits where you get everything you need to create the project. It will always come with a mini squeegee. So that is an essential tool. The next size up is called a small squeegee, and it's really, to me, not that small. Compared to that, you can get a lot, you know, cover a lot more coverage with this. So this is a small size squeegee. Now, we do have a variety of other sizes. We have some angled ones. We have actually one that looks like a squeegee with a handle. We have a variety of different sizes, but I don't have all of those sizes. I do want to show you a couple other smaller ones that you might be interested in. One is this handy dandy tool. This is called a multi-purpose tool. And I love it because it's got this smaller squeegee on the end, and that works in nice areas where you need more detail. You need to get in closer. And then this side is actually used for scraping the inside of these jars to get around the edges, or you can use it to stir. So that's a multi-purpose tool. And then this one is called our detail tool. This one has an even smaller squeegee, if you can see that. I think you can. So this again is for those little small areas. Now today's transfer that we're working with does not have any small areas, so we don't have to worry about using either of these. We actually are just going to use this size squeegee because we're just going to use one color, and that's going to help us get it done quickly. But this also has another little handy dandy tool on this side. This is a little pointy plastic, and I use this to fix boo-boos all the time. That's my fixer right there. But it's actually made to help you get your transfers out of the corner of some of our box frames, which we have wooden box frames. So we have lots of different surfaces that we offer in my online shop, and you can chalk on just about any type of surface. If you follow my channel at all, you'll see I do a lot of upcycling. I use I do surfaces, sorry, not products, but surfaces from the Dollar Tree, Ollie's, Big Lots, Dollar General, Walmart, Hobby Lobby, Michael's, you name it, or a thrift store or something that I have on hand. If I think I can chalk on it, then I do it. I use my home. I use my refrigerator, my oven, my windows, my sliding glass doors. You can chalk on a variety of projects. You can even do it on furniture. So it's really a boundless, anything that doesn't move. We can do it on pillows. We use ink for that, but I'm not going to get into all of that. But there is a wide variety of surfaces that you can use to chalk on. We're just going to focus on the chalkboard today. And then my next instructional video will work on a different surface, and I'll talk more about it. But those are the types of different squeegees that we have. We also have a multi-purpose set, artist tool set, and I'm trying to find all the pieces, and I don't see them all. I don't see all the pieces, but there's another little teeny tiny squeegee in that one as well. So we have a variety of squeegees to help you with your projects. So those two are essential. We're going to need these 3 items so far. Okay. Now the next item that you're going to want is to pick out a transfer. So what is a transfer? A transfer is like a stencil. These are silk screen. They're made with silk screen. I'm going to pull this one out. They always come in this protective sleeve from the company, and it even has instructions on the back as to how to use and care for your transfer. And it's in English and French because we do sell in only in the US and Canada. This one is called Smart, Loving, and Kind, and this is actually a retired transfer. We do not have this available anymore, but I love it so much. I thought it would be perfect for this project. So this is what a silk, this is our actually one of a little bit older one. The ones we have now are more translucent, but this is basically vinyl. And then this white area you see in here is silk screen. And so why you see some of this staining up here is because I used a color that had a darker pigment, and it may stain your vinyl. But if you'll notice, you can see through all of the white area. That is the silk screen. And as long as that is clean and clear, you're going to get a wonderful image every single time. Now, I love this type of design where I call it subway art. I think that's what it's called, is subway art. I just love it when you have a bunch of different words together. And you could do this in a variety of ways. I have made this I've used this particular transfer several times to do multiple projects. And you can do it all one color, which is what we're going to do today, or you could do each line a different color, or you could pick and choose a couple colors for some of the words. That's a little more advanced. That's not a 101 class. That's okay, we're using multiple colors now, so then I have to teach you a new technique. I'm not going to teach that technique today. I'm just going to teach the basic technique, and I will mention something to you while I'm doing it, but I'm just going to show you how to get something done quickly and how to do it efficiently and simply. But I love this transfer. And like I said, they are reusable, they are self-adhesive, and the company's going to guarantee them a dozen times to be reused. But I'll be honest with you, we have designers that have used them many more times than that. You know, basically, they can be reused as many times as you want to. It's just they say that after maybe the 12th time, you may not get as much stickiness or adhesion. So you might have to do something to supplement that yourself to make it so that it stays down. But the cool thing about our transfers or transfer stencils are, number one, that they're silkscreen. So with our chalk paste design, the formula that this is, it's exactly the right consistency to go through here and go through this little small silk screen, but then also be the right consistency where it's not going to be running. So I love that. And then that's what helps you with the silk screen. Plus, you can get a lot of different, with having silk screen, you can get a lot of different details that you can't, oh, not in this particular transfer, but details you can't get in other ways, like weeding and with some other types of stencils, just because you have a silk screen that can hold little teeny tiny pieces. If I was trying to demonstrate that more, I would have chosen a transfer that had more details to it. But that is one of the pluses. And then, like I said, these are self-adhesive. So you see, it's sticky. Now, I'm going to do something in just a moment. I'm going to show you another tool that we'll need. And I'm going to show you what you'll need to do prior to putting it on your surface. But suffices to say that it is sticky, and every time when you wash these, I'm going to show you how to do a quick and easy clean just here on camera. But I also I probably need to upload it. I have a video of how to clean it, how I clean mine. They're cleaned in the sink with just cool running water and one of our board erasers, which I'm going to explain that later. But the stickiness comes back after you've washed off your chalk paste. These transfer stencils can be used with chalk paste like this. You can use it with ink, which we sell also in my online store, or etching cream, or I think it's called burn cream or torch cream. I'm not sure, but you can use that on it as well, and then do your torch design on if you had something in wood. That is one thing I have not played with yet. But you can use these for multiple items, but do not use it with paint. Don't use chalk paint. Don't use acrylic paint unless you only want to use it once, because you are going to there's probably a very high probability you're going to ruin your transfer. It's going to stick in your silk screen area and you won't be able to reuse it. And that's what makes these, worth they're not a large investment. This is what we call a B-size transfer. It's like the size of a sheet of paper. But the investment is that, you can use it over and over again. These size, they're not very expensive. And we even have smaller, and then we have really large, but I just figured this was a good basic one to show you to start with. So that's what you're going to need also. So you need a transfer. So we have 4 items so far, right? And you'll have to, I have to apologize. It's been a long time since I've done a beginner's workshop. But that's basically what I'm trying to give you right here. I do online workshops, but I used to do in person as well. And these are kind of the basics that I would go over if I was holding a workshop. So I apologize. I'm kind of out of practice doing that. And I just know what to do. So I just skip to it now. So I'm trying to slow down and kind of explain all that to you. So those are some of the basic things you're going to need right there. Now, what else are you going to need? You are going to need some kind of cloth. This is what we call our fuzzing cloth. It's in our signature color, as you can see. And this side is terry cloth and this side is microfiber. So why you need some kind of cloth is for when you're working with your transfer stencils on anything but a textile, you're going to want to fuzz it first, because it is sticky, like I was showing you, but we want to just take away a little bit of the stick just so that it doesn't pull so hard. Some surfaces it pulls harder than others, and especially the very first time you use a transfer stencil, it's going to be the most stickiest. So if you feel like it's really strong, you want to fuzz it on some kind of terry cloth. If you don't have a fuzzing cloth like I have here, this side is for the fuzzing side and this side is for drying. I usually put them on this side with the sticky side up, and I let it dry on the microfiber side. As you can see, I've actually cleaned some on here, and that's why you can see that on there. But you need some kind of terry cloth or some kind of fabric. Sometimes you can even put the transfer stencils on your clothing just to pick up some lint. That's all you're basically doing, is just making it so that it's a little less sticky. So if you don't have one of these, you can just grab one of your little hand towels or something like that. You can even get one of those microfiber cloths at the Dollar Tree, something that you'll be able to put your transfer on. So I'm going to show you that. So this is like the basic things that you're going to need to actually do a project. There are going to be a couple other supplements that I'm mentioning, like this. I mean, you don't have to purchase this, but this just comes in handy and it's very inexpensive. But these are the basic things you're going to need to start with: a surface, a squeegee, some chalk paste, a transfer stencil, and some type of fuzzing cloth. And if you have all that, you're pretty much set. Now, I also usually recommend for you to have, and I'm looking for mine, and I don't think that I have them out here. You should have either a wet paper towel, oh, I do have some, or some baby wipes. That's not what I wanted. Some baby wipes. I usually have them in here, and I think I ran out. Oh, I do have some in here, I think. So you're just going to want that for your fingers or for cleaning your squeegee, or just to have in case you need it. You may or may not even need that for doing these kinds of projects. So simple, but it's always a good idea at least to have a wet paper towel close by. Let me think if there's anything else. Oh, one other thing I do suggest is having some kind of marker, like a Sharpie. A lot of times on my transfers, when I first am using them the very first time, I put a little dot down in the corner. I don't know if you can see that one there, just to show me that is the front of the design. Now, this particular design has words on it, so obviously I can tell what's the front and what's the back. But with a lot of our designs, if it's just an image and you don't have the words on it, and because they're so translucent now, like I said, this is a little older version of our transfers. This was from 2021. That you can't always tell what's front and back just right off the bat. And for me, just to make it easier so my brain doesn't have to decipher or think, I put a little dot on the front, and then I also always write on the back of my paper. So basically we call this a backer sheet, and this side is smoother, or not smoother, it's more matte. So it's more like it's not exactly like a piece of paper, but it's not got a glossy finish or a coating on it at all. So I always write something on the back. You can even just write back if you want, but I write usually what the name of what the transfer is. And the reason is because, like I said, when we're done using this transfer, we're going to wash it, we're going to lay it to dry. And once it's dry, we're going to put it back on this backer sheet and then back in the protective sleeve, unless you have another way to store your transfers, just to keep it so that, and it's going to tell you all that on the back right there, guys. There's instructions right there on the back of your sleeve. But you're going to put it all in that to keep it protected until the next time you want to use it. And I do apologize if you leave any comments and I am not seeing them, because I am not seeing anything. Then I will go back and check it afterwards. And like I said, if you ever have any questions about these things that I'm explaining to you, feel free to reach out in comments, and I will do my best to get back to you as soon as possible. But you'll notice this side. Can you see the little bit of reflection coming from my light above me? So that side's a glossy side, and this is more of a matte side. So you always want to make sure that the sticky part, this is basically a huge sticker, you guys. A sticker stencil. That's why I like it, is because it's already self-adhesive. I don't have to tape it down or hold it down or worry about it shifting when I'm trying to do my project. I can just lay it down, it's adhered, and then I'm good to go. But because it is sticky, once it dries, it's going to become sticky again. And you want to make sure you always put the sticky side on this glossy side, this coated side, because if not, if you put it on this side, it's almost like putting it on a piece of paper. And what happens to a sticker when you put it on a piece of paper? When you go to pull it off, it's stuck to the back, and then you've ruined your design. You've ruined your sticker. So that is the other thing that I suggest, is usually a marker, so you can write on the back so you know what the back looks like, and then a little dot on the front. Otherwise, if you have a transfer stencil, now this is all one design, obviously, but we have many transfers that are transfer. I'll try to say transfer stencils because I know a lot of people say stencils. If you have one that is got multiple designs on it, like let's just say, I should have brought another one out, for example, and I don't even have one out here with me, but let's just say we had a transfer stencil that had the word mother on it, but then it had some pretty flowers over here, and maybe it even had a heart over here. If you want to cut those designs apart, then you do need to have a nice pair of scissors. So that is an option. It is not mandatory, it is optional. But we do sell specialty scissors that work with our transfers. They've got the extra long blade. They are coated so that the sticky part of the back of the transfer does not stick to them. And of course, they are a beautiful teal color. So that is an option. It is not a necessity. If you have another pair of scissors, you can use those, obviously. And like I said, not every design, you won't have to cut apart every design, just some of them. Okay, so that is pretty much the basic materials that you're going to need to do a project with. Okay, so we'll go ahead and do this project, and then I'll tell you what other things that you might want to consider having at the end when I show you how to clean it. But that's all we're going to do. So I'm going to set this aside. Let me go ahead and open this up. I'm going to show you. Now, you always want to keep, if you have your chalk paste in a jar, you want to make sure you keep the lid on it as much as possible, because chalk paste is just wet chalk, you guys. So when it is exposed to the air, it could dry out. This one I actually added some water to the other day, so I'm just going to stir it a little bit. I have these cute little spatulas that are stir sticks, and I'm just going to stir it because I noticed it was drying a little bit, because I have had this color. I've had this jar a long time. Not this color. I've always had this color, but I've had this jar a long time. So your consistency of your chalk paste should be kind of like a frosting or yogurt when you're stirring it up. That's what it should feel like. And if you're getting a brand new jar, you don't have to worry about it. But if you've had one over a year, like I have with this one, and the reason for that is because I have just about every color we've ever come up with. So I have such a variety of colors, and I like to use a variety of colors that I don't go through them as quickly. If I was only using one color, I would definitely go through it. Now, what you saw me just spray in this jar was distilled water, because even if you have acrylic paint or chalk paint at home, not that you're going to use that with those, you're not going to use it with our transfers, but just for general rule as a crafter, if you have those and they get dried out, you can try to add water to them and see if you can get them back so that they are moist again. But only use distilled water, because tap water has impurities in it. And if you spray that in any of your paints or anything like that, you could grow mold in there. So you definitely don't want to do that. So I only use distilled water in my chalk paste. And as you can see, now that I've added some to it, now I'm seeing exactly what I want to see. That's the consistency it should be. I shouldn't have trouble stirring it. And the reason mine's so bad is because I do this. Look, that's not what you're supposed to do. Because I'm always flying in and flying out. And I don't take the time to clean the side of my jars, but that's why. It's because I got all this dried chalk paste on the side, because I just do that. But now I have it the consistency that I want it to be, and that's what it should look like. It's just wet chalk, but once it hits the air, with this type of chalk paste, this is our matte, this is our basic chalk paste. Like I said, we have shimmers. We actually have a shimmer teal now, which I love. And I almost always use shimmer, but for today's experiment, I wanted to, today's experiment, not experiment, today's demonstration, I decided I would use regular, but I almost always use shimmer. But this type of chalk paste dries in about 5 or 6 minutes, because it's just wet chalk. It's going to be out in the air. And then that again is why you want to keep your lid on it. Or if you have a chalk paste single, if you have a single, then you seal it up after you've used it. And I do have tips and tricks for that as well. Like I said, I keep those actually. I don't know if I've uploaded that trick up here either. I probably need to take some time and upload those. But you always want to keep the air from it to keep it moist. Okay. So now that I have my chalk paste open, I'm ready. I've got my squeegee right here, ready to go. I'm going to set that to the side. So I'm going to go ahead and get this on my surface. All I'm going to do is take and like I said, I have used this transfer several times, as you can see, but it's still very sticky. So I am actually going to I'm putting my backer sheet over to the side for when I'm done cleaning it and it's dry. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put the sticky side down on my towel. This is my, fuzzing cloth, but if you have a towel, I'm going to put it on there and I'm just going to kind of, make sure it's down on there. I'm going to pull it off and then put it back on. That's simple as that. Like I said, if all else fails and you don't have anything, you can put it on your clothes and try to pull off some lint from that way. But I just usually do it several times. It depends. Like I said, this is an older transfer. They used to be really, really sticky. So you had to fuzz those a lot. But I want it to be sticky enough that it's still going to grab a hold of my surface, but not so much that when I go to pull it off, it grabs it so tightly that it does not, that it might try to stretch my silk screen. That's what I'm trying not to do. Now, I am not going to embellish this in any way. I've already got this cute little bird up here. I need to paint him because, it's white on white. It's not bad, but I should paint him because I love to have color. So I need to paint my little bird. But I am just going to try my best to get this. I'm an eyeballer, y'all. If it bothers you, I'm going to show you another trick. I just eyeball things. So I'm going to do my best to try to get in the middle. I'm not going to add any other embellishments. I'm not adding anything else to it. This is just going to be a very simple subway art. Now, I will tell you this. So this particular transfer stencil has all these words on it. And if you want to figure out where the actual middle of the, I don't know if y'all can see that. See how that's grabbing it so much? I might need to fuzz it a little bit more. It really wants to hold it. And I'll tell you, glass and metal and acrylic really grab your transfers. Chalkboards, it all varies. It really does vary. But those always grab your transfer stencils really, really strongly. So you definitely want to fuzz a lot. Okay, that should be good. But here's a little trick for you. Since I have these words, I can look at it and say, okay, well, M-O-T-H-E-R is 6 letters. It's probably somewhere in between that T and the H, but who knows with the font exactly where. I could do that and just eyeball it and it would probably be fine. But if you're one of those people that likes a little bit more exact, you don't even need to get a ruler out. This is what you can do. You can take your transfer and you can fold it in half. And I'm going to look through my silk screen and try to match up the last part of my last letter and the first part of my first letter and match it up. Make sure I have it, level here, straight here, but kind of match them up. And then I'm going to put a little bit of a crease in it like this. I'm just going to bend it. Now, when I go to wash this and dry it and put it back on my backer sheet, that little bend will come out. But look. See, that middle is actually more towards the T than it is to the H. So if I had used the other method I was just telling you, I wouldn't have been in the middle. Now, do I know exactly where the middle is of this? No, this is probably like 9 by 12. Let's see if it says. I don't think it says. I got this last fall. Because a friend of mine told me about it. I don't see it saying on there, but I'm going to guess that's like 9 by 12. The chalkboard area, probably 9 by 12. Okay. But I'm just going to kind of eyeball it and try to get it fairly in the middle. And you know what would be cool with this one too, you guys? I just thought of, I love working on things, creating things, because the more you create, the more creative you get. I totally believe that. And as I'm sitting here doing this, I had no really preconceived thoughts as to how I would, style this once I get it done. But because this has a little ledge, I just thought as I'm putting this here, I could put this up a little higher and then put some little pictures here, maybe of all the different mothers that are in my life, right? Or maybe of me with my kids, some little small pictures and maybe some little picture frames or something. Shoot, you can even go to the Dollar Tree and grab those, I'm sure. Now, do you guys see where that is kind of really grabbing? So I'm waiting to press it down until I'm sure I have it lined up where I want. Once I have it lined up where I want it, It might take me a couple times. This is the longest part of the whole project, you guys. That and me explaining everything. But if you're just doing this yourself, this is going to fly by. That's why I love this too. When I got started using chalk products, I did it as an online workshop during COVID time because I just needed something else to try. I needed something as an outlet. And I tried it, did not even do well with it my first time. And I really think that was because I didn't have the best instruction. But I definitely didn't do well with it. But I loved it so much because when I got done, I was done. I am one of those people. I've been DIYing and creating things for a long time, but I always seem to be able to start projects and never get them finished because of my other time commitments with taking care of the kids and the house and jobs and you name it, and parents and different things like that at the time. So I love that I could do it, and once I'm done and I clean it up and it's a quick cleanup, that I can say, oh, it's done, and I don't have to be like, oh, I've got 10 projects sitting around waiting for me to finish them. And it always turns out the way I expect it to because it's basically foolproof. You guys, kids can do this. You can do this with kids. This is a wonderful idea. We do have lots of Father's Day sayings in there too. On my online shop, we have Father's Day type transfers. It would be so fun if you sat down with your kid and you let them help you make the present for the dads in your life or for a birthday or whatever. This is easy enough that as long as the kid is old enough to be able to follow some instruction. I've worked with a 4-year-old little boy. My grandson, when he was 4, did it with me, and he is very active and he doesn't do a lot of crafty stuff, and he did it no problem. So if you have someone that a child in your life that can follow some, they can do this. And besides the fact, this is a chalkboard and chalk. If you don't like it, you can clean it off and redo it if they mess it up. So quote unquote. Okay, now if you notice, I got it placed where I wanted. So then all I did was I started smoothing it down and making sure it's adhered where I want it. Now, while I'm doing that, I can feel, and if I have any bubbles or any kind of, let's just say, so it's been a while since I've washed this. If it had dog hair on it, or if it had a big piece of lint, I would feel it in here. Now, it's not a big problem with that unless you have some kind of, if you ever see like a piece of hair or piece of fabric or piece of something in your silk screen, you definitely want to take that off. Because it will affect your design. But if you just feel a bump, you just want to try to smooth it out, unless it feels like it's like a big piece of lint. Some people will even take their squeegee. So this is what the squeegee looks like. It's got this flat side here. It's a little wider. And then this side is thinner and angled. I don't know if you can tell that or not. It's angled. And then you've got the back. Now, a lot of people will take this fat side here and just kind of go down the transfer, and it will take out any bubbles. If you have any bubbles in there, it will, because you don't want bubbles around your design, because then what that does is it will affect your chalk paste and how it goes on. So, and it potentially will make it bleed. So that's all you want to do is make sure you smooth it out, no bubbles, especially around your silk screen areas. Okay. Easy peasy, just like that. All right, now I'm going to take my chalk paste and I'm just going to take my squeegee. And I typically, for most projects, I use this side, the angled side. But if I feel like I need to, if I'm using shimmer, so our shimmer chalk paste is the same thing as this, but it's got something in it that makes it shimmery. So it's not exactly glitter. It's definitely easier to use than glitter because it's not messy, but it's got something gritty in it that makes it that shimmer. So sometimes with those, I will use this harder, the not angled side to get it in, just to push through and make sure I'm getting it through the silk screen. But for most projects, I just use the angled side. That's a personal preference, and it really doesn't matter as long as you're getting it through the silk screen, okay? So now I've just loaded this like that. I'm going to tell you another way you can do it. I have this whole design is going to be with just chalk paste, and it may or may not even use that much. Some people will take a little mini spatula like this. This comes in a little pack, a whole little pack. I don't even remember how much it is, but it's very inexpensive. Or something similar. Don't use wood. I would suggest never use wood with your chalk paste because little splinters of wood could get in there. Like don't use a chopstick or something like that, or a popsicle stick. But if you have something, even like a baby spoon, I have a baby spoon over here, like an old silver baby spoon, and you can use that, and you could take out chalk paste and put it on different spots on your design, and then just use the squeegee to smooth it out. It's completely up to you. That's a personal preference as well, but that's two different ways that you can get your chalk paste onto the transfer to apply it. So now once I have it on here, I'm just going to start covering my silkscreen area, you guys. It's simple as that. If you can butter bread or smear a bagel, you can do this. This is easier than frosting a cake. I'm telling you, it's so easy. And you just take your chalk paste and you cover up the silkscreen area. Can you see that I'm covering it? You make sure all of the silk screen's covered. I'll show you this as well. I'll pull some out and do it this way, because I can always put it back in my jar. Whatever I don't use, whatever's extra, I can put it in my jar. I feel like that's way too much, but we'll just go with it. So I'm just gonna, you apply pressure enough to push it through, but you don't want to press super hard. Like that's pressing really hard. You don't have to do that, but don't do it so light that it's not going to push the chalk paste through the silk screen. So you want a little resistance on your squeegee when you're putting it on there. I have had people not in brand new workshops when they were first time trying it, that did not apply enough pressure. So when they pulled their silk screen off, the image wasn't as great. That's fixable too. You just lay your silk screen back down and you reapply some more, but you do want some resistance. You're not just barely, like a paintbrush. You're not doing that. You are applying some pressure to it to push it through. Now, what I'm also doing at the same time right now is I'm going back over the whole thing because I'm pulling off any extra, and I'm going to show you all the extra I had. I'm pulling off any extra that I had, plus I'm being sure that I covered all of my silkscreen area. And like I said, this is an older transfer. The newer ones are even better. You glide across here even better, and you can see right through so easily. So look at all that extra chalk paste I have. I'm putting that right back in my jar because there's not a thing in the world wrong with it, and I can reuse it, and I don't waste anything. So a little bit goes a long way, especially with our newer transfers. Okay. And then all I'm going to do you see everything's covered? So now I want to do this. I want to move fairly quickly. If I let this sit on here and keep talking, then the chalk paste could dry in the silk screen and my image would not be as fabulous. So I start in a corner and I pull it back a little bit. And then I work my way over here to the middle, because when I pull this back, I want to pull it from the middle and try to pull it like evenly. Not evenly, I guess. I want to pull it where I'm not just tugging from one corner because I want to stretch my design. Okay. But then look, okay. And if it feels like it's still grabbing too much, you just kind of wiggle it. Now I see a couple areas that I have a little bleeding, and that could have been because I had something on my transfer. And I'll show you how I fix those. But look how easy and fabulous that is, you guys. Look at that. And it's done. That is not dry. It will take about 5 minutes to dry. I'm going to let that sit and dry. And then we're going to come back and I'm going to show you. You may not see it. I do right away. But I see a couple places that I had some bleeds. With brand new transfers, that doesn't happen. With most transfers, it doesn't happen. I think maybe I had some, either it was this chalkboard surface was not completely flat. Because that's the whole idea. What you want to have a flat surface so that you get the best image. And there's ways that we do that with wood and painted items and stuff. But with a chalkboard, usually it's pretty flat. So it's either this chalkboard was a little screwy, because I do see several places where that happened, or I had some type of lint or something on there that was affecting it. But I'll show you how we can fix that. It's totally fixable. You don't have to redo this whole project because that happened. Okay. So now I'm going to show you what's next. All right. I am not going to use a lot of times I will use my, my microfiber cloth to clean it. I'm going to show you what I actually use here at the house when I'm, if I'm doing it this way, or if I'm at a workshop. So I'm going to set this on, move this out of the way. I'm going to set this on this is basically one of those dish drying mats from the Dollar Tree. You can use a rug. You can use like a bathroom rug from the Dollar Tree, something like that. Something that you can put it on that can get wet. I'm going to set this on here, and I'm going to spray it with just some regular tap water. That's all this is. Now, remember, I don't use regular tap water in my chalk paste or my paint if you were fixing your paint or something, but I definitely can use it just on my transfer. So I'm going to spray it because I want to keep, basically I'm keeping that chalk paste that's on there right now wet so that it makes it easier for me to clean. But I also want to make sure that I'm getting my jar shut back up. So if I had a single packet, I would be, sealing that up. But since I have my jar, I want to go ahead and get it sealed back up so that the air's not getting to it. And honestly, you guys, I need to get in here and clean this thing. I need to work on that before the next time. And go ahead and get it airtight again. Okay. Now, with these items, I take these to the sink. I just use a little bit of cool water. I don't need soap. You can use soap, but I don't need soap. But I use a little bit of cool water and usually my fingers, and I just clean those off because that's just wet chalk. It's going to come right off. Now, if you get this on your clothes, if you get it on your hands, if you're if you're letting a kid play with it and they get it on their hands and maybe they are really little and they put it in their mouth, it's not going to hurt them. It's non-toxic. Obviously, we're not going to tell you to eat it, but it's not going to hurt it. It's not going to stain anything. It will come out because it's just chalk paste. Okay, so I have sprayed that to make it very wet to keep the chalk paste that's on it wet. And now I'm going to turn it sideways so I have more room to work with. I am going to take a wet paper towel. This is a quick and easy way. Let's say you were traveling or you were, I used to go to scrapbook retreats and scrapbook days and things like that. Let's just say you were going somewhere and you were doing this craft somewhere where you didn't have access to a sink. Again, I will try to make sure I get that uploaded on here, how you clean it in a sink, because it's super easy. But this is another way that you can clean it. There's actually two ways, but this is the one way. I'm just going to do this one basic way. So I'm going to get some paper towels, and I am now going to just basically wipe off the front part of this transfer. And I'm pulling off, look at all that. Shame. What a shame. That's why I say I love our new transfers. They're made out of a different vinyl. And so you don't waste as much chalk paste. These old ones, they used up more chalk paste than what our new ones do. But I'm just basically getting off a lot of the excess on there. Okay. Okay. Now, once I've done that, I am now going to take a board eraser. Now, we call these a board eraser because they're actually made to work. They were made to work with chalkboards, but they're called a board eraser. They come in a 2-pack. They are super inexpensive. I think it's less than $4 for both of these, and they will last you a long time. Do not confuse this with a Mr. Clean eraser. It is not a Mr. Clean eraser. If you use a Mr. Clean eraser on your transfer, you will ruin it. Okay. But I just use the water to get the top layer of the chalk paste off. Now I'm going to wet it again. And the reason why we're trying to clean it, you don't want to let it sit. You want to clean it. And this is what I typically do. If I am doing a project and I'm not doing a camera, on camera, live, I will do the project, set it aside like I'm doing right now, and let it dry. And while that's drying, I go and clean my items. I clean my transfer. I clean my squeegees. By the time I come back, my project's dry and I'm good to go. I'm ready to go. Or if in this case, I need to fix a couple of things. If you let the chalk, if you don't clean it or keep it moist, if I'm doing a live, I usually just spray water on it and keep it moist until I can get off camera and clean it. But if you don't, it can dry your chalk paste in your silk screen, and then that's going to affect your image for the next time. So that's why we don't want to do that. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and open this up, and I'm going to show you, like I said, this quick and easy way to clean it. Do you have to have a board eraser? Absolutely not. You do not. The board eraser, like I said, was mainly invented for the chalkboard, but I use it 100% of the time to clean my transfers. I consider it more of a transfer cleaner. And as you can see, it's got a flat side and a like a bumpy side. It's looks similar to a Mr. Clean Eraser, but it does not have the ingredients in it that a Mr. Clean Eraser does. But it is like magic. It's fabulous, really. So what I'm going to do now, and I use this when I'm in the sink as well. I use this. I usually take it to the sink, rinse it under the water to get the excess off instead of using the paper towel that I just showed you. And then I use my board eraser. But you're just going to take your board eraser and you're going to wipe it on the front of your transfer first, or transfer stencil, whatever you want to call it. Okay. Just like so. Like that, like so. Who used to say that? I forget. It was somebody that was on TV. That's how they could say it. Okay. And now I've pulled off a little bit more. And I'm going to flip it over to the back side. And I am going to spray it with water again, just tap water. Again, you can do this so much easier if you have a sink. I am going to spray it with the tap water, and I am going to, oh, sorry guys, that's like the awful sound. And now I am going to clean the back with this board eraser as well. So what is happening right now is not only am I getting any chalk paste that went on the back of there, but I'm also picking up the lint that I had put on there from my fuzzing at the beginning from my fuzz cloth. I apologize, you guys. That makes a terrible sound. Oh, sorry about that. But so now I'm getting the fuzz off. I'm getting any chalk paste off. I'm getting all that off. Okay. And then what I do from there is actually, if I'm using this cloth, then I just leave it on here and I keep it dry. I let it dry to air dry. If you wanted to speed up that process, you can. Let me see if I can find a piece of this. I hate to waste another paper towel. I should have used this differently. If you want to speed up the process, you can take a dry paper towel. I guess I have that other one over there. And you can just go across it and pull off the extra water, but you don't want to keep it on there because, again, this is a sticker and you don't want the paper to stick to it. But you can take your paper towel and pull off any extra water from it. Okay. And look, did you see what I'm saying? It's back sticky. It's sticky again. And look, this is the main thing. Can I see through it? Can I see through it? Yes. So now what I'm also going to do is I'm going to show you. Then you would put it back on your backer sheet. Remember, we have the back. We have something written on the back. So we want our glossy side. We're going to put it back. It's a little damp, but I'm going to go ahead and put it back on the backer sheet. I do it this way. Some people put the transfer stencil upside down and put the backer sheet on it. I find I work better this way. I think it's a personal preference thing again. I put it back on the backer sheet. I try to line it up as good as well as possible on the glossy side and smooth it out because you don't want to have creases in it and bubbles in it, right? Because that could affect your design. And then if you've done it that way, instead of letting it just air dry, you can also go back over and just make sure you pull off any other excess water. Now, I personally would probably wait. If I did it this way, I would wait and let it dry a little bit more before I put it back in this plastic sleeve, because I don't know if that would cause any kind of mildew. I don't know. I've never done it. I usually, like I said, let mine sit to dry and air dry. But as you can see now, it's back on the battery. I don't even get it on there 100%. And then I will put it back in here and store it. And there's multiple ways to be able to store your transfers as well. So an optional item, like I said, would be the fuzzing cloth, because you can turn it around and if you don't have one of these mats, if you took this to the sink and washed it in the sink, an optional item is the board eraser to help you get it clean. But if you have some other kind of sponge, just a sponge, a regular sponge, and I don't have one here with me, but if you have just a regular sponge and you want to use that to help you get the excess chalk paste off the front and back and the lint off the back, as long as you're using water and it's not an abrasive sponge, you would never use like the kind with the scrubbers on it. You would just use a regular sponge. You can use a regular sponge to clean it too. I just like the board eraser because I feel like it helps get any of the pigment out and stuff too. So that's optional. You can use a regular sponge instead. And then if I was doing this in the sink where I just washed it, got it all clean, and I was letting it air dry, you don't have to have one of these mats that I got from that I used from the Dollar Tree. You could use that same cloth that you used and just lay it on here upside down and let it dry. So that's an optional thing. The fuzzing cloth is optional, and the board erasers are optional. The chalk paste is not optional. You're going to need to have chalk paste. You're going to need a surface. You're going to need a squeegee. Those are the basics you can't get away from. Okay. So I think that covers all of like what the mandatory. And like I said, I will take, it's messy. I will take these to the sink with just water. And you can use that same sponge. You don't have to use the board eraser because I don't. But you could use the same sponge to clean that off, or you can just use your fingers. And if it, look at my hands are, because I've been touching those paper towels, but that will wash right off. It doesn't even stain at all, you guys. I will go to the sink and wash these and it'll be done. It won't even stain my fingernails, even though I have polish on them. But you can use a little soap on the squeegee if you need to, or if you have a spatula, you can, but don't ever use soap on your transfer. Don't ever use a baby wipe on your transfer. They will ruin it. Okay. All right. So now for this, I'm going to show you. It's completely, you hear me touching it? It's dry. I don't have to worry about it. It's on there until I want it to go away. Now I have another video to show you how to clean it off. And I know there's one up on YouTube about cleaning off chalk paste. There is a way to clean this off, and I could just reuse it. If I had I don't have a Father's Day one like this. I have some cute Father's Day ones. But if I had if I wanted to switch it over to Father's Day or if I want to switch over to Memorial Day, which is coming up, right? Then I can clean that off and reuse the surface. That's the whole idea behind a chalkboard surface, is that you can reuse it over and over and over again. But if you want to look, I'm going to show my mistakes. You can see there's some mistakes there. You see a couple places it's bled. Okay, I'm going to show you what I do to fix it. But I'll also show you a workaround if you don't have this tool and you need something. Okay, I'm going to show you some options, because I don't want there to be anything that's going to prohibit you from being able to create. So if you need to go to the Dollar Tree and get some things, then I've got you covered, because this girl's a bargain shopper and I like to think outside the box and find whatever I can. Now, this is my favorite go-to tool. I told you I love the squeegee here for the detail areas, but I use this probably more than I even use that squeegee side. I wait till my chalk paste is dried like this. Now that it's dry, I can go in here with this little pointy edge and I can basically just scrape away those couple little spots of dried chalk, where the chalk is dried. Okay. I can even, honestly, guys, I can clean this if I wanted to, like I could take a wet cloth and clean it. I just wouldn't want to linger on there, and it would clean it off. But any little places where I have bleeds, I can just scrape it off and brush it away. I even have a little makeup brush over here somewhere, or a paintbrush that you can just brush it off with. If you don't have this tool, or you don't want to buy this tool, it's a wonderful tool to have. But if you don't, you can use, I got this tool from the Dollar Tree. I'm sure it's made for weeding. I don't know that for sure, but I would guess that's what it's for. To me, it looks like a dentist tool. So of course I don't like it. Who likes dentist tools? But you can use these. These are just little pointy, something that's pointy and sharp. And look, I can go right in here and scrape away my little boo-boos. Now, this is the other thing I want to caution you guys about. Okay, I am a perfectionist myself. So I don't just tell you this. This is something that's hard for me too. I will see every mistake that I make. And I am attention to detail, but when I create, I try very, very hard to give myself grace. And unless it's blatant, I try to let it go. Like, I'm going to fix this a little bit. It's not going to be 100% perfect in my eyes, but to everybody else, they're not going to see that. So that would be what I would encourage you, is to give yourself grace. If you've made a little mistake, if you can fix it, fix it. If not, remember, this is handmade. It's handmade with love. You did it for the joy of creating and maybe the joy of giving it. And don't be too critical. It's not supposed to look like it came off the assembly line or from China. Okay. So that is my little pep talk to you, that to give yourself grace. And every time you do it, it's going to look different because it is handmade. Okay. So I could go through here and find every little spot, but that's another tool. I did pull this one out. I don't know if that would work or not. It's kind of rounded edges, so I'm not sure, but definitely that pointy one or something you can find that you might have on hand for it. So that's it, guys. That's all it is. That's all it takes to create a fabulous project. And now I can display this. Like I said, I could put some pictures down here, little picture frames, some pictures of me with my kids or of the mothers in my life or whatever I wanted to put down there, or maybe little keepsakes. Maybe you have a little rock or a little shell or a little something that, you know, one of your kids or grandkids have given you. No problem, Tammy. It's not always easy. That you know, want to display down here while you have it up there. But again, this is the cool thing about this is you can change it out. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it was helpful and I went through all the steps. I think I covered everything. If you have questions about something, please put it in comments. I will be glad to address it, even if I need to just do a short video to put it on here so that you can always refer to it. But thank you so much for hopping on and checking this out. And make sure you say hi. Even if you come on in and you're catching this on the replay, I would love it if you say hi. And I hope that you'll come back to be inspired, be so inspired to create something that you're going to love. All right. Until I see you next time, my friends, be safe, be healthy, and be blessed. Bye.